Hello, this is my fourth fourth video of like my little video journaling that I've been doing. Uh, Today is May 30th. So it's been about 5 months, or about 6 months since I did the last video. Just got done with my spring semester of my sophomore year, which was a lot. It was really busy and a lot went on, but uh, yeah, this Minecraft world, I've been working on it quite a bit, a bunch of stuff. I haven't been recording it at all, but uh, I just been getting on here to like pass time whenever I was like getting like stressed out or bored. So I fixed up this little house a bit, and then I started fixing up the village, which put a lot of work into it. I built all these like little side walls and stuff like that, where you, like it wouldn't be easy for mobs to get in. And I also made like this little lake up here, and I built a stream kind of going through the area. I also built quite a few houses too. I made a little stream going right here. That was nice. Of course, I made it, so yeah, I think it's nice. And then I've been trying to make like a little island in the center of it and letting the grass grow to its center. But then I started tearing down some old buildings and then like putting up these new ones. So I put like cobblestone and white concrete. It's like a little library. This was pretty sick. We're gonna build an enchanting table in here, I think, or maybe just in my house. I'll show you my house here in a second. Yeah. So I made like a few little like living houses that are safe. And I made this farm, or I made two farms. And then yeah, that's the little hobbit hole right up there. Kind of made it like out in the open a bit, but I enjoyed making it. Got a little farm right here. It's Enderman. Don't look at him. Oh gosh, he's one to see me. Yeah, in here. Cool. Try not to look at that dude. Oh gosh, hello zombie. Go up here. I'm gonna go to bed. Spider, get out of here. Yeah, I've been getting on here on and off throughout the entire semester, and just been doing that stuff. Yeah, I got two little doggies. A bunch of cats too. I found a bunch of cats in the village. Yeah, I've been moving a bunch of stuff in here. I was pretty proud of this little build. Yeah, this is a little setup for now. Probably gonna add on to it as well, but that's about it. Found a few mines and stuff like that, mine shafts. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, I just been doing a bunch of building, which is probably kind of boring to watch. Love it though, it's fun. Uh, so what's been going on, Chase? Well, at the start of the semester, I started 5 classes like usual. Also made these big old mine shafts. I started with 5 classes, and one of them was my Intro to Computer Science 2 class, which I really enjoyed that class. It was tough though, a lot tougher than the first class, which you'd expect that. But I had a good time doing that. A lot of work. I finished with an 88 in that class, so like a B plus. I got one bad grade on a project, and that kind of I dunked my grade down quite a bit. And then I had let me think. I had my ethics class with another professor I really like. I had him for philosophy for my fall semester. So ethics, that was a pretty interesting class. And then I had I had technical communications, which is, it was an interesting class. Kind of taught me how to like present stuff, I guess, like in a professional format as far as like technical documents go. So yeah, that class, it wasn't too hard for me. It was honestly a fairly easy class, but there's just a lot of work to it. Then I had, gosh, I keep on forgetting the classes. I was just there like a few days ago. Computer science, ethics, technical communication. Golly, they'll come to me. Hang on. I'm getting old. I'm 20 years old and starting to forget stuff. Golly. I can't think of it. Can't think of the other class. It must have not been that hard. Because every other class I got an A in. I just can't think of it for the life of me. I had 2 classes each day. Ugh, there's gonna be a time cut. I'm just thinking about this. Golly. Okay. Well, I guess I can start doing something in the meantime while I'm thinking about this. Jeez Louise. I'm gonna start tearing down some of these old buildings and start making them like those ones with the white concrete in it. I like doing that. And that's really bugging me. Gosh. Okay. I guess you can't do it and think about Minecraft at the same time or something. Oh, it was my Old Testament class. Golly, I could not think of that. Okay, yeah, it's 5 classes. Or not 5, that's 4. My McNair research class. I'm part of a research program, as I talked about in a few episodes back. I got accepted into that. Be happy about. Yeah, that's all 5. So it's running it back. Computer science, technical communication. Technical communication, ethics, Old Testament, and McNair research. I had a good time in all those classes. I really enjoyed the Old Testament class, especially to be honest. Learning about the Bible, the Old Testament is such a huge chunk of the Bible. I thought that was really fun. And yeah, got an A in every single class except for my computer science class, which I guess that's expected. It's supposed to be difficult. And then, yeah, this semester I talked about a girl in another episode. She was pretty cool. I had her in my history class my fall semester, and I ended up like trying to pursue a relationship with her, and like I just kind of like I was really slow and methodical about it. Like thought things through, tried to be sweet when I could, but I guess she just stopped feeling me after a certain point. That sucks. She was really cool. She was really pretty too, but that's just how things go, I guess. Pretty often for me, apparently. But I'm not trying to get downhearted about it, especially since I just met another girl. Another girl. She was in my Old Testament class this semester, and she's a graphic design major, and she's pretty cool. She's this short little. I probably won't describe her. I don't want to call anyone out in these videos, just in case I get embarrassed later on. But yeah, she's pretty cool, and we went on a date finals week, so it's about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We just went across the street of the campus to to this little coffee shop, and we went to an antique store that was right next door to it. Made a pretty good time. But yeah, I thought we hit things off pretty well, and then she said the same. She really liked how things were kind of going, so we went on another date last week on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, and went to the Oklahoma City Botanical Gardens. I'm from Oklahoma, by the way. And we had a good time there. It's like we just walked around for probably 2 or so hours, and I was being real sweet to her, and she's being real sweet to me. And I ended up holding her hand. Kind of got my heart pumping. It's kind of funny. But we went into the botanical gardens for a bit, and then we walked around like the outside like park area, and just kind of talked and walked around for a while. Then we went to a coffee shop again. Got some coffee and a cookie. Both did. Then I took her back to our campus. Yeah. After that, we've been texting back and forth, and next week we're going to go see a movie. There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. She likes Marvel stuff, and so do I. Of course, a lot of people like Marvel stuff. It's pretty popular nowadays. Yeah, that's about it. Golly. Yeah, it was a rough semester though with that one girl that was in my history class. I thought things out pretty well. Like I started hanging out with her quite a bit. She seemed to enjoy that. She even invited me over to her dorm room a few times, but I was working those days, so I had to turn her down, which that may have put a damper on our relationship. But yeah, I around I think around February, whenever Valentine's Day was coming up, I bought her a bunch of Valentine's Day gifts. I was gonna ask her to be my Valentine. Let's go to the Heart Pal dance, and so I got her a bunch of stuff and then gave it to her, and she was really happy to have it, but like she seemed like almost sad whenever I gave it to her. Like she was thinking about breaking things off, which she eventually did, and no harm towards her. If she doesn't want to be with me, I don't want her to be with me. And then yeah, we went to the Heart Pal dance with her and her friends, and I tore up the dance floor. I like to get down and boogie. And I had a good time and made some new friends there. And then I think what else? What else? These things calling me. Nope. Okay, I'm good. Let's see here. I'll start on that one. Yeah, she ended up like I asked her out if she wanted to go out again, and she said no, that she couldn't date me and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to force your hand. So I just kind of let things go and kind of drifted away from her a bit. We're still friends, of course, and I'm still friendly towards her. But now that I met this new girl, I'm kind of happy I didn't end up going out with that girl. I mean, seeing the way things are clicking between me and this new girl, I'm kind of noticing how different I was from that girl from my history class. So moral of the story: there's usually some better things on the horizon if you're more patient about it. And I was getting impatient because as a guy, you get kind of like I wouldn't say, well, yeah, you could probably say jealous of like people around you, like your friends, they're getting in relationships. I mean, some people I know they're even getting married, and I'm still over here single. So, like as a guy, you get like this kind of pressure to marry someone, and it's not just like pressure from like people like your family members and stuff like that. It's like your own sort of pressure. Like, man, I'm lonely. I need like a partner. And yeah, hopefully things will go good with this girl because she's pretty cool. But you know, I'm not trying to get my heart broken, you know, because that's never fun. But you know, I'm still staying optimistic because she's pretty cool. She likes a lot of the things that I like, and I can just not like a prying conversation. Like me and her kind of talk real smooth. That's really important when it comes to starting new relationships. Oh, skeleton. Let me go get this bones. Here, buddy. Uh-oh. Wait. Got him. Yeah, that's about all I had to say about that. Made some more friends though this semester, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I made some more friends, and then I started hanging out with more new people. Started helping out with a community movement, or it's like a new sort of like volunteer program that my professor of my ethics class and my philosophy class started up. It's called the Micah Chapel, and I wonder if my grandkids in the future will be looking at it and seeing if it grew into an actual church. But right now we're just kind of like a small movement. We're meeting up. Like it's comprised of like a few professors and then a bunch of students and then like a few pastoral ministry people who work with that kind of stuff. I gotta go to bed. But yeah, I've been helping out with that. I've been going there using my truck to like take stuff down. And basically, what they do is we meet up like every Sunday afternoon, just about, and then we load up like these like I like to call them track and field tents, to where like you kind of prop them up, and we set them up close to homeless shelters, and we just hand out like food and supplies to like these nice homeless people who are kind of down on their luck. And I really enjoy it. It's really sweet and heartwarming to give out stuff to people and see their happy reactions. But yeah, it's that's what I've been doing this semester as well. I've been helping out with that every Sunday afternoon. It was starting to get really draining with my job because I was still a manager at I'm still a manager at that or I was. I'll get into that later, but I was still managing at this retail store called At Home. I was still one of the youngest managers there, and it was honestly kind of difficult, but easy at the same time. I guess it was difficult in that I was also balancing college and my volunteer work, but it was easy in the fact that like I don't know, having to do that kind of job, it's not hard at all. It's really simple, really easy sort of stuff. If there's ever any problems, I usually just kind of it's I hardly have any problems if I'm being honest. But it wasn't that hard of a work. And I was mainly staying there because I had my one friend Sean. He's my best friend, and he's still working there. But yeah, I started looking for a new job after Christmas time came and went because it was it was during Christmas break in between the two semesters, between my fall and spring semester, that this lady, she came in and she was almost at tears. Like she was with her two grandkids, and one of her grandkids she said was dying, and she wanted to have like one last Christmas for him before he died. And I, I I I found it hard to honestly believe because I don't know, she just seemed like sad to a point where it almost seemed like she was faking it. But I didn't want to stand in the way of that sort of thing, you know. So she was like trying to get a deal on this Christmas tree, and then she was trying to get all these ornaments for it. And I was just, I was like, I was trying to help her out, but all she had was like $100. So I gave her my employee discount and stuff like that. But it was just heartbreaking, you know, like having to deal with that and then just continue working because it was just sad, you know. And I tried to help him out as best I could, and I got him a good Christmas tree that was like, I think it was like 60 something bucks. So, and then I cut it down by 25%, so it's probably like 40 something at that point. And then uh, I I did my best with their ornaments, stuff like that. So they got about $100. She was still asking for more, but I was like, this is all I can do. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. And at that point, I knew I was like, this isn't for me. This isn't what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. You know, bargaining with sweet old ladies who are trying to do their best for their grandkids. Not the way I want to live my life, you know. So I started looking for a new job after that, and then I had heard that the resident advisor positions were having openings for the next coming year, for the next fall semester. So I went ahead and put in an application. The last day it was open, it was open until like February 2nd. So I put in an application then, and then I got it. I got an interview. It was like a 1-on-6 sort of interview. It was like in February. I think it was on a Valentine's Day actually when I did it. And so like there was like 6 of these like sort of advisors around the campus, like well-known people that like sort of run the dorm rooms and stuff like that, run student life. And I go into this interview, and there's 6 of them. They're all just kind of sitting there staring at me, asking me questions. Of course, I'm being charismatic. I don't really shy away from stuff like that, or you know, I used to, but now I'm pretty confident in my own myself. I guess it comes with being a manager, I suppose, having to make big speeches and you know tell people to do their jobs. And so like they asked me a bunch of interview questions, and I I answered them as best I could. I said it as plainly and as honestly as possible. I can't really remember much of them now, but I just remember one of them complimented how honest I was about it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to sit in here and lie to you, especially if you're going to be my future bosses. Honesty is the best policy, you know. But I I think it was about like for 20 or so minutes. They just asked me about questions about my faith and stuff like that, and I was like, well, like give us your testimonies, basically what they asked me. I was like, well, I mean, I have a few good stories for sure, but I honestly want to say I'm still developing my faith, and I want to save you know some good storytelling for later. And they're like, all right, that's a fair answer. But other stuff like that about like my past work experience, and I told them that I was a manager at a retail store called At Home, and some of the advisors in there were ladies. They're like, "You work at Home?" I was like, "Yeah." Of course, At Home's like a home decor store, so it's kind of popular with them, I guess. And they thought that was cool. And then I went ahead and answered a few other questions, and they looked at my GPA, and apparently I talked to my resident advisor because every student gets one who lives on campus. And I asked them, what do they do in like preparation for that? Like they go through all your social media and stuff like that, see what you're on. And I was like, oh, okay. Like luckily, you know, I kept it clean on my social media. I didn't post anything stupid. Of course, I don't really have anything stupid to post, but I used to post a bunch of stupid memes when I was in high school. My college advisor told me not to do that, and I was like, okay. So I took down everything and like made a nice profile. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so that was the end of the interview, and then I left, and I thought I did really good. And then like a few weeks later, they let us know that that they kind of liked us, and that they wanted us to come back and do a second sort of interview. It's called a group interview. Basically, they wanted to see how well we worked together in a group setting, and how agreeable we were, I suppose. And this part of it was weird. It's like I don't know. It's like I work well in groups, small enough, I guess. And I talked to my RA Tucker about it. He's like, yeah, like pretty much if you did well enough in that first interview, they're gonna know who they're gonna pick, but like they want to just make sure by having you compete in like these little challenges, I guess. And so like the first part of it, uh, like we all meet up. There's like 14 of us, I think, in this like little room, and they're like, all right, so half of you are coming with us, and the other half are staying in here. And so half of us get up, and we go into this other room, and there's like a box of Legos on the ground, like just full of Legos. And like they hand directions to each of us, and then I was like, all right, read the instructions, but you can't talk for the next 15 minutes. And so like everyone had instructions like you were supposed to build the first layer of the floor, and then like another person was like you're supposed to build the third and fourth layer of the floor, and then like it was like yeah, like each layer has to be like this one color, so make sure they're doing those colors. And so, and my instructions were make sure there are at least 4 people building at the same time. And so like I was just basically handing Legos to people, like making sure they were building, which wasn't that hard at all. But other people were like really confused, and they're like trying to build stuff with people, and they couldn't talk to them, so they're just kind of making these hand motions. It was kind of funny, but it was in silence for 15 minutes, and we're just on the ground moving Legos about. I did that, and let me think. We did that for 15 minutes, and then afterwards we kind of laughed about it, and then we went to the other room where like the other 7 people were that. And so we went in there, and I think, yeah, and then the other 7 people left, and then went to go do the Lego thing. So we got in there, and then we did like basically this pop-up sort of presentation thing where we had to make a school event based off of like 4 or so items that they gave us, some random stuff. So for ours, we had a light bulb, a rubber band, Skittles, and paint. And so like I looked at the light bulb and the paint, I was like immediately, for some reason, I went to Christmas ornaments. So that kind of popped in my head. I was like, okay, what if we do uh, like people paint it with paint these light bulbs into ornaments, and we tie them up with rubber bands, and then we have like candy on the side, and we make that into an event. And we made this little poster, and it's pretty cool. But then the other group, like they split us up in half, so it was like 4 in one group and then 3 in the other. And we were in the 3 group, I think. So we did that, and we presented ours, and like the other group didn't do too well. So like we laughed about that, and then like the other 7 people from the Lego room, they came in, and we went into like the final sort of stage of it, where you had to debate people coming in as RAs. So like they basically made us do their job, I guess, in where like they had like short descriptions of these people on paper, and we had to determine if they're like their RA material, resident advisor material, which is what we were competing for. And so we kind of like looked through all these people, like, oh, this person's like a great athlete, super sociable on campus, and he has straight A's. And we're like, okay, that's an obvious bonus. Like, yeah, go ahead and bring him in. And it was like had like one flaw, like he's kind of a party goer, but everything else he's pretty good at. And we're like, okay, he's all right, but just gotta make sure he stays away from parties, stuff like that. And then like others were like, this person's a convicted criminal. He had drugs on him when he was a kid, and but he's a good student, and he's fairly sociable on campus and stuff like that. So it's like we had to debate it, and it was not fun at all. But I kind of went with the flow as I usually do. I just kind of agreed with people because a lot of people there were fairly disagreeable, which I don't think that's what they were imagining us to do. They want us to be agreeable, is what I gathered from it. But people were on the other side of the table were really arguing for their people. I was like, what are y'all doing? And then like people on my side were starting to argue. I was like, okay, that's a good point, and I just kind of went along, and I was like, all right, next person. I didn't really argue with them at all, which I think was a good quality. And then, like while we were doing that, they were like bringing us into rooms by ourselves with like two other people, like two of like the campus life people, where they would like ask us these like really moral questions of like what we would do as resident advisors. And like that was kind of like the most defining point of that interview, because like it was just us by ourselves, and they like we had to act out these situations with one person, and then the other person would sort of record it down and like note what we said. And so like one of them was like a student or a person who does not live on campus is walking around in the dorm rooms and they smell like weed. Like, what would you do? And so I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh man, I was just going back to my buddy's room. I was like, well, it's after visiting hours, and it was like she said it was like 1 a.m., which is way past visiting hours. I was like, you should probably leave. He's like, oh no, man, like I got it checked out and everything with what's his name. I was like, well, I'm the RA of this floor. You're supposed to check it out with me, and you didn't. So I think it's probably best that you leave because you're supposed to do that between a certain time. Oh no, man, can you just let this slide? I was like, nope. You should leave right now. I highly insist you do that. He's like, please, dude, please. I was like, please leave. I wasn't being like rude or anything, but I was being sort of firm in like the way I was talking, which that's what you have to do as a manager, I guess. Just state what you need them to do and be firm about it. Don't really change your mind. And so I did that, and then there's a few other situations where we just had to be nice and like understanding to the people. Like one person wanted to move out away from their roommate and stuff like that, and I kind of talked them down from it. But like I was like, well, if the problem still persists and you like don't address it with them, you need to address it with them. Like you need to talk them through it without making them lose their roommate, because that's not cool just to dip on someone. Telling them that like they have a problem that they need to fix, or they're gonna move out, or you're gonna move out. So like I kind of talked that way towards them, and then another dude was like stressed out about public speaking, and like he was like just kind of not with it, and I kind of talked him out of that as well. I was like, hey man, like I totally get it. Like it's not easy, and it seems like everyone around you is like doing really well, but in reality, we're all sort of going through the same thing. Some people just have good poker face, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. You get stressed out, because that literally happens to everyone, no matter who you are. So I did that, and then there's only 3 situations, and then I went back to the room and continued debating with the other people. Oh my gosh! And one of the girls I was debating with, she was a girl that I was talking to my freshman year, and like she ghosted me. So it's kind of awkward. I was like, why did I get paired up with you? But I was nice and courteous as I usually am, and we worked things out pretty well. But she just liked to ignore me. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta work with her. So anyway, I do that, and then we leave. They say thank you for coming in, and then like I think it was about a week later, they send us an email saying like I thought they were just gonna send us an email saying like, oh, you got it or you didn't get it. They're like, no, come to the bookstore and come get this letter like of like congratulations or apologies for not getting the position. And so I get this email because I'm waiting for it all week, and go out and we get to the bookstore, and there's already a line of people who are also in the interview with me. And so like I'm seeing people walk away happy. I'm seeing people walk away like crying. Like people are skipping away. People are like crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is pretty nerve wracking. So I do that, and I'm waiting in this line. And I'm like the last one in, of course, and I get to the front, and I get the letter and it says, "Congratulations, you got the position," and stuff like that. I was like, yes. I was super like nervous waiting that line the entire time. But yeah, I got the position as an RA, and this was right before spring break that they let us know, and then they had like a meeting going over some stuff about like what we're going to be doing for the next few then like whenever we come back next fall or at the end of the summer now. And so they covered that, and then we kind of went our separate ways. We got put into a group me, and like I've been helping out with some like RA duties, I guess, with the resident director of the all boys dorm over here at my college. So yeah, I got that, and then I went back to work, and I was thinking about continuing working at home as a manager there, but I honestly didn't see the point anymore because like it'd just be added stress. And I got this new job that's lined out for me, so I went ahead and put in my 2 weeks because I already saved up about $3,000 in my bank account. I was like, okay, yeah, well, that can last me the rest of the semester. And my parents always take care of me, usually, so like it wouldn't be that big a deal. So I went ahead and put in my 2 weeks there, and they were super sad and upset. But I was like, I gotta move on, you know. I've been here a year and a half, and I've already made manager. I don't want to go up in position anymore because there's several positions after that I could shoot for, but like, you know, after that whole deal with that grandma and her grandkids, I was like, this is not for me. So I went ahead and put in my 2 weeks, and then said goodbye. The boss of there, she's a sweet lady, but she's not very experienced in the position, so she had a lot of difficulty, and so I only ended up working another week, and then I said my goodbyes. She forgot, I guess, but I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I just been working on college ever since. I did pretty good with everything else. I tried to get all straight A's the rest of the semester, but I only ended up with 1B, which is not the end of the world because I've had C's in the past. It's not that big a deal, especially in college, because you know if you're in college and you're passing, you know you're doing your good job. Like you know, they always say C's get degrees, but I want to try and shoot for A's as best I can. Yeah, that's about it as far as that goes. And then let me think. What else? Yeah, this summer started a few weeks back. Still going out with that girl. Going to the movie next week. I moved in to the summer apartments here, the summer housing apartments that they have at my college, with a new roommate. His name's I won't say his name actually. Sorry. And then me and him, he helped out with the Micah community movement, so we made good friends. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's move in together for the summer. That's what we did. And so we're in this nice little apartment that they have for summer housing students. And since I'm part of the McNair research program, I'm doing summer research this summer. And I'm doing mine over social media algorithms and like how they develop over time. And so like to prove that, right now I made like 5 separate TikTok accounts, and like I had like a topic for each one. So it's like one topic's like Christian scripture, one's conservative politics, one's liberal politics, another's let me think. Another is was the fourth one? Environmental topics, and then cooking topics. And so I'm seeing how they develop over time. And right now, like every one of them's coming into it pretty well, except for the liberal politics. Of course, I'm in Oklahoma, so it's a red state. So that's kind of understandable that the YouTube or the TikTok feed wouldn't be sending stuff my way because I am in Oklahoma. It does track your location, which is kind of what freaks people out. But we're thinking about getting a VPN right now for it so that I can change where my location data is coming from. And so I'm thinking about putting it in like a blue state, like California or like in New York or something like that. Yeah, that's what we're doing so far. And right now I'm kind of procrastinating on working on it because I've put in like four of these sessions of me recording videos for it. I'm about to do the 5th session after this, right? I get done talking about this stuff. Yeah, that's what I've been doing for the summer so far. I'm interested to see how well they'll pan out. But yeah, I'll report on it in the end, and then it will look good on my resume, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going into my junior year as an RA, so I get a room to myself in the all boys dorm, and the resident director of the all boys dorm, I think he gave me like the best room in the dorm, like the actual dorm itself. It's like on the first floor and it's on like the far corner from the stairwell, so like I won't be hearing anything. I don't really have to hike any stairs, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that starting in the fall. Yeah, right now I'm kind of missing my house at the moment. I want to be back home with my dogs and my family, my chickens, all that. Back on the on my family's ranch. Golly, yeah, golly, yeah. Towards the end of this semester, it started to get pretty rough. I had been visiting my grandpa as often as I could, my grandma and grandpa. It's my grandpa. He'd started taking. I should probably go to bed. His health had started to go downhill. Like for the past 2 years, it started like my senior year. He had a stroke, and my grandpa, he didn't believe in doctors really. He didn't really want anything to do with the hospital. He didn't want to burden us at all. So he just kind of ignored it, and then he had several strokes go on, and it really hurt him. So like his health was just in like steady decline over the past 2 years, and so he like started to have serious dementia and stuff like that. But he I tried to visit him as much as I could. I visited him right before I left for my spring semester of my sophomore year. So like in January, right before I left, I visited him, and then I visited him again in I think it was March, and he was bedridden at that point. He couldn't move his legs, and he was kind of like it wasn't really there. He kind of like looked at us, but he was just asleep most of the time. And it was so I couldn't tell you how much it just broke my heart. Because my grandpa, he was always up and around, and he was always so lively, and he loved to work, and he had all this land. He gave us 60 acres of it, so we lived right next to him all our lives. I mean, he was pretty prevalent in me and my brother's life. To see him bedridden like that, not able to move or talk, is just it was heartbreaking. And then visited him one last time. I think it was April 15th. I visited him, and I ran over there shirtless to go say hi to my grandma. I was just going in for a workout, and I went and said hi to him. And then my parents came by, and I just gave my grandpa a hug and said goodbye. And I didn't realize that was the last time I was going to be saying bye to him, because I just didn't realize it was time. Of course, it was coming for a long time, I suppose, but I just didn't realize it was going to be that soon. It always takes you by surprise, I suppose. But yeah, and then 2 days later, they kind of put him on notice. Like, and the people started coming back by. The people who kind of helped my grandma take care of him started coming by more prevalently, and then he passed away on April 17th. And and it was my dad called me and told me, and I started crying, and it was It's been a long time since I cried that hard. It was his time to go, and he loved God more than anything. He loved Jesus Christ more than anything, and he loved his family. He loved us a lot, and so we had a funeral for him about a week later, and I dressed up, and me and my entire family were there. Poor Dad, loved him to death, and it was so hard on him because my dad was with him all the time. I mean, when he wasn't at work, he was over. My grandpa's helping him out, or my grandpa was over at our house helping us out, build a house and stuff like that. Build our house, and he he was wanting to get up there and say some stuff. My dad wrote like a bunch of pages just saying a bunch of stuff, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't get up there and talk, and he told me that, and he was starting to cry and tear up. I was like, "It's okay, Dad. Like, there's no one who could blame you. Like, you loved him more than anyone I know. You were there in the worst moments." And I kind of took it upon myself. I was like, I better step up and go up there and say some stuff because the only other person who was going to be up there was my dad's best friend since he was like a little kid, Carl Dean. He was a pastor. And then my older cousin, who he was going to go up there and say a few words. So I didn't want my older cousin to be the only one that was up there. So I wrote some stuff down right before we actually had the funeral, and then I went up there and said a few words, just talking about how he inspired me to go, or how he told me God had a plan for me to go into computers, and he thinks that computers is the way I should go because I always had like a liking to them. I always had a liking for technology. And when I was a little kid, he told me this when I was like in middle school. And at that point, I wanted to become a doctor so bad. I wanted to help people as much as I like could. And I told him that was stupid. I told him I was like computers, Grandpa. Like I want to become a doctor. I think that's stupid. And he laughed at that. But and then I kind of made the point. I was like, well, here I am today, a computer science researcher in college. So he kind of got the last laugh on that. Yeah, and that kind of made people a bit more cheery. But then my cousin Noah got up there and he said a few words. And the pastor Carl Dean, I'd known him since I was a little kid. He hung out with us quite a bit. Him and my dad. And he led the actual funeral because he knew him pretty well. And he said a few good words about him, and it was a really good service. And my poor grandma, I know it was a rough day for her too. And I was holding it together pretty well throughout the entire service, and then they had like this sort of lineup of like all these like friends and family who weren't like crazy close to Grandpa, but they knew him. They like lined up and started walking around to the family, which was me, my dad, and my brother, and all my cousins and stuff like that. And that's when I started to cry and tear up because they were just saying like, "I'm so sorry for your loss" and stuff like that, and telling us all this stuff. That really got to me. But gosh, yeah, that got to me. My grandpa was an awesome guy. I'm happy I got to say a few words, and I thought it was pretty good that two sons from two of my grandpa's sons got up there and said something. And then afterwards we had food at this community center, and my old job from it's this little like cafe shop called Althea's. They catered to it, which is nice of them. They're saying they're so sorry about the service and stuff like that, and I appreciated them a lot. Yeah, that's golly, save the worst for last, huh? But it was a good part of my life. I think a good semester. It was fought with hard work, a lot of a lot of rough days, a lot of good days, and how things are looking up. I'm having a good summer so far, starting my research, which I'm really interested in this research because I want to see how these things develop, and maybe I can post it and make a good document for it. And this girl, she's pretty cool. She's exposing me to some new stuff, and we like a lot of the same things. But she's showing me some cool stuff, like movies, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, she's pretty cool. And those are kind of the bonuses I like to look at. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm probably gonna keep on working on this, building up more of this village, and then yeah, I'll probably make another one of these videos before the fall semester starts, talking about how things went with my RA training and stuff like that. I guess probably a shorter video, but yeah, I'll keep on working on this world, and then yeah, I think that's about it. All right.